Hi there, good evening. My name is Michael Kirzner. I've been asked to speak briefly regarding the upcoming Parsha of this week for Shabbos, which is Parshas Vayakhel and Parshas Vayakhel-Pekudei, which is a double Parsha. That means two for the price of one. However, I'm just going to spend a few minutes and discuss one or two of the essences. If we take a look at the Parsha itself, it looks like it's talking about mostly the contributions to the tabernacle, the rules of construction, the mandate of the craftsmen and how they were chosen, and the work itself, the details. And then in the second Parsha, which is Pekudei, it's really the dream of an accountant. It discusses all the details of the finances, of exactly the materials that were used, how much were used, so that Moshe Rabbeinu, so to speak, was taken to task to make sure that he accurately detailed exactly what was given to him for the usage of the materials for the Mishkan, to the penny. So in other words, we have always been good accountants. However, what is the message that I can give you very briefly as to what the Parsha could be telling us? If one looks carefully, we'll see a very, very anomalous situation. In the previous Parsha, prior to this, in Kitise, right, we're talking about many of the offerings that will be given. We're talking about the golden calf. We're talking about doing tshuva from this. But above all, we're talking about the methods of doing tshuva. So we understand now in this parsha that we have the building of a tabernacle, of a sanctuary, right, which ultimately became the Beis Hamikdash, a method of developing tshuva. Fine, we got it. Point number one. And then we see the details of how that's going to be actually performed exactly. But then in the middle of this, I'm going to read. It says, Vayakhel Moshe es kol adas bnei Israel, that Moshe gathers together all of the congregation of the Jews. Vayomer lehem, he says to them, Eila hadabarim, these are the things asher tzivashim that God commanded lasosam to do them. So what's he going to talk about now? We're waiting for more temple things, more offering things. No. Sheshes yamim taz samalacha. 6 days you shall do work, and on the seventh day it will be Kodesh Shabbos, Shabbaton. That is going to be a Shabbos Shabbaton, a Sabbath of Sabbaths, a rest of rests for us. Suddenly, in the middle of talking about the building and construction of the sanctuary, we suddenly are talking briefly, but more importantly, for this moment, so it seems anyways, about Shabbos Kodesh. What are we talking about? What's the Torah trying to teach us? Okay, that's what I want to share with you right now. Because we have to explain why is it that this little paragraph on Shabbos is interpolated in the desire and need for Jews to have a sanctuary, and that sanctuary is a method of having a close relationship with God. Why talk Shabbos? So I'd like to share with you just a brief idea, which really comes from Rav Shimshon David Pinkus. And I'm not going to elaborate, just to give you a basic thought for this. What do we see when we have the idea of a Mishkan? We have a place of closeness, a place that we can go, that God is proximal to us, and that we can feel God's presence. In our generation, we do not understand this. We don't have a temple. We have not had a temple for 2,000 years. Most of us have a lesser understanding as to what constitutes this type of relationship in space. But Tisha B'Av, we mourn the loss of this. And it takes a lot of work to be able to mourn this, mainly because we don't have a sense of it. Come along Shabbos. Now we have a sense of relationship with the Almighty in time, not in space, in time. And this is critical, because unlike the temple that we struggle to understand, and it takes work, Shabbos comes every week. We have a capability of developing a close and enduring relationship with the Almighty because of the gift of this temporal 25-hour period in our lives. And therefore, we now understand why it is that Shabbos and the temple, so to speak, are put together. Because they both are the methods, critical methods of developing that closeness. God comes to us, so to speak, every Shabbos. And we come to the temple 3 times a year on the festivals. Perhaps in the future we will. In the meanwhile, what we should be doing and could be doing is learning more about Shabbos Kodesh, about how to live it, how to feel it. For those who don't know, one day, soon, COVID will be over and you'll be in our homes again, experiencing Shabbos with us. For those who know it better. Understand it more deeply, that it's God's special day, that you're going to be eating meals at God's special table. We need to focus on this to grow. Hence the importance of Shabbos, hence the importance of knowing what the temple stood for. I want to thank you. Please have a beautiful Shabbos.